Stand by for a transmission from DX Central. This broadcast is not a test. To confirm reception, please tune your radio to any AM or FM frequency and report your observations during this transmission. Again, this is not a test. Stand by for a transmission from DX Central. This broadcast is not a test. To confirm reception, please tune your radio to any AM or FM frequency and report your observations during this transmission. Again, this is not a test.
DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AMDXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News Member Bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teague Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teaguepublishing.com for more information. That's teaguepublishing.com. From the pages of its DX Monitor member bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AMDX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AMDXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
Gulf South
to your corner of the world.
This is DX Central Live.
Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana. My friends, thank you for joining us for another Friday Night Live DX. AMDX, maybe a little FM. We've been seeing some E-skip this week, y'all. Woo! How are we sounding tonight, by the way? Let me know. How's that audio sounding? I know last week was a little modulated. Holy crap, was it modulated? Sounded like a Cuban radio station for a few minutes last week. 5.9 sounding good and awesome. So yeah, we had a little E-skip this week on the FM band, our little usual December holiday E-skip openings that we get a lot of times this time of the year. We also had a pretty eventful week from the weather standpoint, so I'll be honest with you, I didn't get to do a lot of DXing because we had storms, as you might have heard about some of the storms that hit the New Orleans area. We're good. Everything here is fine. All the tornadoes were away from us, and the antennas survived, so we're good. But we definitely had some interesting moments, and everything was unplugged for a while, and I just plugged it in about an hour ago because it's been a crazy week from work. We're taking some time off starting next week from work for the rest of the year, so I'm trying to get everything done with that. I just haven't had a lot of time to DX, so we're going to do quite a bit of DX tonight, my friends. We have some special announcements to get to tonight as well, and so we'll be getting to that a little bit later on after our first little live DX session that we have. As always, we want to get some shout outs in here for anything that you might have heard this week. So if you have a new station that you logged, a new state, a new country, I'll be calling for that here in a bit in the chat. So when I do, just let us know over in the chat and we'll get you some shout outs, some logs this week. I know there were some folks who had some stuff on social media they were posting, and I was like, make sure you join on Friday night, and we'll get you that shout out. Obviously, we do also have our medium wave frequency challenge results from week 11 when we were DXing 1290 through 1305. So we have some results to post for that. We'll be doing that video a bit later on, and more. So we have our DXE tweet of the week. We got a lot of stuff. We're going to be keeping an eye on FM. We had some folks up in the Northeast actually hearing down into Arkansas earlier, which is just to my north, and so the donut on FM list actually had me in it, so I was getting the FM alerts email from fmlist.org. I didn't have a chance. I've been head down tonight doing some work for the channel and for day job stuff, which the stuff for the channel we'll be talking about here in a bit. But I was head down with all that tonight, so I didn't have a chance to do any scoping out. So we're going to keep an eye on the FM, and if we see that the opening is doing anything tonight, we might swap over and try a little FMDX as well. Obviously, we have to be careful about that because of copyright and stuff and all that kind of craziness. Anyway, so a lot to get to tonight. Tonight we're drinking as is appropriate because we actually just had my day job. We had our holiday party, which I had to do virtual this year for various reasons. But we're drinking Office Party beer from Abita Beer here in Louisiana. A lot of you guys might know Purple Haze as the beer they make. They're pretty well known for. Well, Abita Springs is just up the road from me, about 10 miles, 15 miles or so. So we're honoring our Louisiana folks, and we're also honoring the season with a little Office Party stout. So cheers, my friends. All right, let's go ahead and get ready for some live DX. Now, one thing that did happen this week, because we were sitting on 580, or I guess 576 through 600, I wanted to spend some time on the low end of the band. Including our frequency challenge frequencies, but really on the low end of the band, looking for latents, because I hadn't really done that in a while because I was testing out my Superloop, which I had oriented east-west. So I took that down, took the east-west Superloop down this week, not because I wasn't happy with it, because it was performing really, really well. I was hearing some good stuff out west, but I really wanted to get back into Latin America. Now, I could have put the Superloop back up into a north-south configuration, but I wanted to go back to the kHz because I know it had been doing well, and I kind of had everything kind of in place and set for me to do that. So cut some new wire, put the north-south kHz back up. It's actually a little bit closer to, it was 330, 150. Now it's at 336, 156. So we're having a little bit closer to that western coast of South America there, because I want to hear Peru and things like that. So we'll be doing some DXing off of that tonight. I also moved my northwest southeast from the northwest to the southeast configuration, so we'll be looking deep into Latin America tonight, hopefully. Let's hope. Which also reminds me, we do have a DX test coming up next week that we're going to have to talk about as well. So we'll be talking a bit about the DX test announcement that came out today from the Courtesy Program Committee, the CPC. And yeah, a whole lot more. So let's go ahead and take a look around the shack here and see what we got lined up for our gear. We've got our Perseus SDR with our Jaguar software all queued up, and our two kHz antennas. So we got the north-south, and we also have the northwest-southeast, which is pointing southeast. We've got our... Oh, not that one. That one. There we go. We got our RSP. I couldn't remember which one it was. We got our RSPDX. Hey, looks like we're glitchy a little bit here, right? All right, there we go. We've got our RSPDX with our SDR Uno software and our twin W6 LVP loops going through our MFJ Phaser, which I need to turn that power supply back on so we can power up the phaser. There it goes. All right, so we're clear and ready to roll on that one. And we've also got our AirSpy HF Plus Discovery here. Back to that one again. There we go. With our SDR Sharp software. And we actually had to play on that one again, don't we? I had that turned off earlier this week. So we got our SDR Sharp software with our AirSpy HF Plus Discovery. It looks like it is. We're back up and running. And we got our 35215, our northeast southwest antenna on that one. Our northeast southwest kHz on that radio. So we'll be doing some checking on that as well. If we need to do some FM, we're going to pop back over here to the RSPDX. And we're actually going to do something that you might not have thought of before. We're going to use our W6 LVP loops to just do some spotting around. I'm not even going to break out the Elad with the Yagi. It's up there. It's ready to go if I need it. It's ready to roll. But I want to show you guys, if we have the opportunity to do so, that FMDX can occur with a W6 LVP loop. Now, it might be a little tough because I do have a bandpass filter on here to wipe out FM. So it might be, I don't know. We haven't tried it yet. We'll see. But let's go ahead and start off with our Jaguar and our Perseus software here. And it's about that time. And let's roll over here to the Perseus. And we're sitting on 580. And I'm on the South Cas here. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what we got here on the South Cas.
Just want all our attention. I know at one point in the writing he told Louisa, you give me something to do. And the game was just
Again, we'll be doing some looking here in a bit. I'll let you guys know when to throw those shout outs for new stuff into the chat. We'll celebrate with you guys after the top of the hour, but hold on to those. We'll get those going here in just a little bit. Mine's going to be a short list. Very short. Well, not too bad. I had a couple. Let's switch over to the southeast.
how labored it is. This adds nicely and combined together, they form the darkness with no boundaries. What pain, oh excess of my love, make from an immensity of light and space into an abyss of thick darkness, so narrow as to lose the freedom to
There, we can
breathe.
get Orlando a bit better now.
For the lovely creatures. And he was saying this, as he was saying this, he moaned. Moans almost suffocated because of the lack of space. And he cried. I was concerned with crying. I thanked him. I compassionated him. I wanted to make him a little light with my love, as he told me to. So you can say, then the same warrior will say, to now. Move on to the seventh of my love.
1-800-935-7267. You are guaranteed a $10 full-service call presented by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s still have certain limitations. That is history you could hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-935-7267. Call now and you'll receive a free American coin collector's certificate.
Countless generations to the gift of a holy darkness, one that is bestowed to certain people as they deepen their faith journey, one that strengthens their resolve to believe that when they cannot see anything beyond the dark night of the soul. BPO, Jonathan Clark described as purgative contemplation, in which God specifically darkens a person's will, intellect, and senses in order to test the authenticity of one's love for God. And that's why we say that faith is a walk in the dark. It's the test that even as the flesh mother herself was not to even the test, but she said yes. She had to give a test of her husband. I wonder if you might give us a final prayer to
Well, let's say, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Thank you so much for listening, dear listeners. You've been listening to Mary Mother and Queen of Divine Will. This is Radio Maria, Christian Voice from your home. Have a wonderful weekend. If you don't hear from us before Christmas, have a blessed, holy peace. The White House urges people to get COVID and flu vaccines. God bless you all. Good night, good night. We're wrapping. Good night.
You're listening to Radio Radio Maria, a Christian voice in your home. Streaming live on our website at Radio Maria.
It's a city traffic experiment in San Francisco. But what happens when you're following an autonomous taxi and it suddenly stops dead in the middle of the road or brakes hard? National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has launched a probe into the fleet of 200 cruise autonomous taxicabs operated by General Motors. 3 hard braking incidents ended with the cruise vehicles getting rear-ended. Cruise tells Fox Business all 3 had a human backup driver.
All right, so we had an ID in there that a little bit before the top of the hour, and then again at the top of the hour for WDBO in Orlando. We had the ID sequence there for Radio Maria, KJMJ, here in Alexandria, Louisiana. Let's go check out and see what we got at the top of the hour from 590, and see if we had anything here. Bet you I know who that is. That's some absolutely fantastic sounding audio they got there. I mean, whew. That's the kind of stuff you want to listen to all day right there. Just stick in and just listen to it. Where was that? La Julia. That was where it was. La Julia. Julia. All right, let's do the same exercise here. Cuba, there it is. Mileage for me was 726. Not too bad. Let's go ahead and also check and see what did we get on top of the hour here on 600. I have a feeling I know who it's going to be before we even play it. We want to think it's going to be VOG in New Orleans. I think so. Maybe a little Rebeldy.
Messianic Perspective is sponsored by CJF Ministries of San Antonio, Texas, and is made possible on this station by the free will contributions of our listeners in this area.
This is AM 600 WVOG New Orleans, FM 107.9, W300BP, New Orleans Ministry Station.
Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me.
So a big part of why I actually moved my antennas, or removed the Superloop and put back my north-south antenna, was so that I could try to hear Nicaragua here on 600. I've heard him several times, many times actually, before here on 600, including times when VOG was in. I could null him out, I could phase him out, whatever. And so I would say they're probably nightly visitor, or every other night at least, at the very least. So they're very frequent here into the New Orleans area, but I just didn't have a chance to do it because of the storms and all the other stuff we had going on this week. So I just didn't get a chance to go and play with Nicaragua here on 600, but we're going to continue to try and see if we can get that in here tonight. And we might do a little phasing here and see if we can pull in La Nueva Radio Ya, because that's one of my all-time favorite radio stations. I love listening to those guys down there in Nicaragua. All right, so that is our first pass that we're going to do here tonight on 600 and 590 and 580. We're not done. We're going to continue to DX that tonight. We're gonna really give that one a good look over. Make sure we sharpen up. There we go. We're gonna give those three a good look over tonight. For the majority of our show tonight, we're gonna be on these three frequencies. So fear not, we're not done on those three. So we got VOG here in New Orleans. We got Radio Musica Nacional down in Cuba, and we got WDBO in Orlando. Two of those I hadn't had a chance to put into the challenge this week. So if you're like me and you're still putting stuff into the form, guess what? We're going to extend the deadline for tonight. I'm not going to cut it off at 0200 like I usually do. We're going to extend it. You've got through the end of the show tonight to get, actually, let's just say this. You've got through tomorrow. Tomorrow sometime I'll shut off the responses. But you've got some extra time in here, a little extra bonus time. And I guess honor the World Cup. Let's do that. In honor of the World Cup going on, and we've got the finals coming up. We're going to do a little bonus time here for you on week 12 of the Medium Wave Frequency Challenge. So you've got some time. If you still have some stuff you want to try to get in, we're not going to cut it off at 0200 UTC tonight. We're going to keep it rolling until tomorrow, until I just finally say, okay, let's go ahead and turn it off. So when that happens, we'll be done and we'll wrap it up. But we'll keep that running for everybody. Have a few extra minutes in here to get some extra logs. So little bonus time Christmas gift for you guys. Speaking of, we've got some stuff to talk about here in a bit. We've got some presents to unwrap, including results from week 11 of our Medium Wave Frequency Challenge. We got to unwrap those guys and shell out some kudos for those. We got some shout outs to do. We got some announcements coming up we have to do. So we got a lot to get to. Let's go ahead and do a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get to all that right here on DX Central Live.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AMDXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News Member Bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teague Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teaguepublishing.com for more information. That's teaguepublishing.com. From the pages of its DX Monitor member bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AMDX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AMDXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
There we go. Get us out of alert mode. That's good. From the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana, it is DX Central Live. Every Friday night at 6:45 Central Time. That's 00:45 UTC. Now, speaking of every Friday night, we have a couple of announcements we need to make tonight, and let's go ahead and start with one of those now. Shall we? No, it's supposed to be having audio with that. I want you guys to get the full effect here. Okay, let's do this again. We have an announcement to make. So there you go. So that's announcement number one. We are going to be taking a little bit of a break here for the next 2 weeks here on DX Central Live. And spending some time. We got family coming into town, so we're going to spend some time with family and friends. And I'm hoping a good amount of time behind the dials as well, to catch up for some lost time on some DX that I just haven't had time for over the last 6 months. I realized not too long ago when I started kind of looking at our schedules and everybody coming to town and everything, I realized that in the 2.5 years that I've been working at the place that I'm at now, the company I work for now, in those 2.5 years, I had not taken any more than, I think, 3 days off, except for we took a good bit of time. I think it was 9 days when we moved here to Louisiana, but I hadn't taken anything more than 3 days off. So why am I feeling so just frazzled here? And then I was like, oh wow, it's because I haven't taken any time off, really. I've been working nonstop now for 2.5 years, which is fine. I used to do that all the time, but then I got to the point where I was taking time off, usually at the end of the year, for my jobs and having PTO and all that kind of stuff, and I realized I hadn't been doing that in a while. And honestly, the job I was working before this one now, I couldn't do that. The job was peaking. It was the busiest time of the year was right now. So I could never take off. We were not allowed to take off vacation during the holidays. So it has been a while since I was able to spend any time in front of the dial, or the, I guess, screen in this case with the SDRs, doing any DXing for any length of time because, been working like crazy. And I really haven't had any time for any daytime DX either. And that's something that I want to remedy as well, because I want to spend some more time doing some daytime DX. I want to do some, like a band scan where I go out somewhere away from the noise a little bit, because it's kind of noisy here during the day in my neighborhood. So I want to take some gear out and do a little daytime DX and see what I can hear. Because I remember back in Brasstown, I used to be able to hear something on basically every frequency. It's been a long time since I could do that. So, yeah, I want to do some daytime DX. And, I got to thinking, I was like, maybe other folks might want to do that too. And then our good friend of the channel here, Sean Cusco, actually said, hey, we ought to do something sometime for the frequency challenge where we do, instead of like a frequency, just do like daytime DX. And I was like, So there's that. So we're not going to have a medium wave frequency challenge for the next 2 weeks while we're taking some time off here, but we're going to be doing that. We're going to be doing a daytime medium wave frequency challenge, not frequency, but daytime challenge. The blog post just hit on the website just a few moments ago. So go to dxcentralonline.com now, and you'll see 2 blog posts that just hit. One has our results video from the week we just saw, the one we just watched the results video for. And the other blog post is about the daytime medium wave challenge. This is going to be our inaugural one. I'd like to do this every year. I'd like this to be like an annual thing where we all just sit down in this nice dark winter time when, you know, daylight's kind of not really around a whole lot, right? We have better conditions, hopefully. We have hopefully not so many storms around with static crashes and whatnot and things like that, that we can actually enjoy some daytime DX, maybe get away from the house a little bit. So we've got all the rules up on the blog post up on dxcentralonline.com. The Google form link is there as well, so you can start submitting your logs, and that starts as of right now. So anybody watching this that's in daytime right now, go for it, knock yourself out. Everybody else who's in nighttime right now, tomorrow when you wake up after 2 hours after your local sunrise, that period between 2 hours after local sunrise to 2 hours before your local sunset, go for it, man. Just as many stations as you can hear. If you need to get away from your house a little bit to get away from noise, I totally understand. I'm going to do it too. I'm basically drawing a ring, about a 50-mile ring around your local location. That's kind of like your zone. Online SDRs are fine as long as it's within that 50-mile zone from your location. So have at it. We're gonna go do a little travel down to the Gulf Coast here, or maybe down the lake or something. I don't know. I'm gonna try to find some time somewhere in here during my time off to do a little DX away from noise and all the other stuff that I have to go on with. Maybe take one of the kHz's, my portable kHz, out and try it out. I know. I think Jeff, you've been playing around with a portable kHz. I think it was. So I might want to try to do something similar to that. I don't have a tripod. Well, maybe I do. No, I don't have a tripod I can use, but I have some other things I can use to get out there and test it out and get away from noise. And got my little battery box that I can use to power all my preamps and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And the challenge will run, it ends at 0200 UTC on Monday the 2nd. So basically Sunday night is when it's going to end. So you'll have all through basically from tonight, tomorrow daytime through Sunday night to get all your entries into the challenge and all that kind of stuff. So when we come back on January the 6th, we will have our results video from 576 to 600 that we're now extending through tomorrow, and we'll have our results video from the daytime challenge. We'll have 2 of those, and at that point we'll also announce our week 13 of the regular weekly challenge frequencies that we normally have. So woo, there's 2 big announcements, right? We have a 2-week break and we have a new challenge tryout. And, you know, a couple of other things we're going to talk about here in a bit. So, whew, that was a lot, wasn't it? We haven't watched the video, though, have we? We haven't watched that results video. I got a little carried away there, got excited with all my announcements, and completely forgot we haven't watched the video. So, let's unwrap some results and see how we did. This was week 11, 1290 to 1305. Let's look back and unwrap some awesome frequency challenge results. All right, so there you go. Congratulations to all of our category winners, our overall winners. Barry, back on top again, man. Back top dog status. Congratulations, my friend. 21, beat by one station. So sometimes you think, oh, it's just one station. Now, one station made the difference between top dog and second place, which was Jeff and Bill. Fantastic. 20 stations heard both apiece. Man, just killing it. 14 here. So it was actually a pretty good week for us here at DX Central that week. But you guys just continue to crush it, blow it out of the water. So kudos to all of you. So I did see a question from Alan wanting to know if you wanted to stay home for the daytime challenges. That fine? Absolutely. If you want to stay home, you're totally fine to do that. Whatever you want to do, whatever works best for you for your DX during the daytime. But if you need to get away or you want to get out and about, you have a 50-mile radius around your local QTH that you have at your disposal to do your daytime DX. So if that helps you get some stuff, then so be it. Again, that period is 2 hours after local sunrise to 2 hours before your local sunset. I remember last year, or was it 2 years ago? It was 2 years ago when I was still in Charleston, hearing on 1610 CHHA in Toronto at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Woo! That would be an awesome one, right? That's a great one that you can add in if you're able to hear that kind of stuff to your challenge. I remember when I was in Brasstown, we heard WOAI, San Antonio, high noon, middle of the day, big snowstorm that day. Both Dad and I heard WOAI on 1200 in the middle of the day. So this time of the year, daytime can do some kooky things, get you some stuff you might normally not be able to hear during the day. So take advantage. This is a good opportunity for us to revisit some old friends that maybe we've forgotten about. Obviously, locals count too, but anything else that you can hear. TISs count. Don't forget to knock those into the TIS HAR challenge as well, by the way. TISs and HAR stations count. Local stations count. Non-local stations count. Anything you can log, any medium wave frequency between 530 and 1710 counts for the daytime challenge, whether you're at home or within that 50-mile bubble around your house. So there you go. The blog post is up. It's got the links in there and everything. I do need to update one of the blog posts with that link back over to it. So I'll be updating that here in a few moments. But before we do that, I did want to also share with you guys some other big news. So one of the things that I've been wanting to do here, here we go, is I've been wanting to, we've got dxcentralonline.com. That's our main website that you can go to for information on DXing and things along those lines, right? So you can use that as kind of an information resource. We have our blog posts up there, stuff like that. But I've also wanted to have kind of a home for us for this show, DX Central Live. So tonight, this is actually what I was working on before the show started, and actually hit publish. Like, I was like, oh man, I got to go fire up the stream. We now have a new home. Online. In addition to, we have our 4 main platforms that you guys are watching us on now: Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. That will always be there. That's not going away. You'll still be able to do that. You don't have to worry about it. But we also have a place here, dxcentrallive.com. It's a brand new website. Just put it up again today. And on that, you'll be able to see here. This is, if I hit play right now, dxcentrallive.com. It's a brand new website. Just there it is, right? That's us. So you can actually play. It'll have the most recent stream up so that you can play those here on the website, right? And one of the things that so right now that's really all we have up there, but one of the things that I want to do is I want to make this kind of a repository so that we'll have like our medium wave frequency challenges will kind of live here as well. We'll have all of our episodes from each season will live here, so you can actually watch them all from here, and they'll link back to the YouTube videos and stuff like that, or the Twitch videos, or whatever it needs to be. So this is going to be kind of the hub for all things DX Central Live. So over time, this is going to continue to evolve, and we'll add to it. So just make sure that you update, add this to your bookmarks, in addition to our normal website that we have here, dxcentralonline.com, which you guys obviously know you can find here, right? We'll also be, let me get the primary video. There we go. This is the main one, right? And here's those 2 new blog posts right here. We also have now dxcentrallive.com. So as we get close to the end of the season, if we're going to be wrapping this season up, we'll announce it here. When the last episode will be when we ramp up the new season for season 4, we'll be announcing it here. Any changes to the schedule, anything like that, will always
be made here. So I'll be adding to this page, but just go ahead and bookmark dxcentrallive.com. And this will be all things DXC Live, especially for you guys that guys and gals that show up every week. All right, you need a place to kind of keep track of everything and where everything's at, and don't always have to go around looking all over these different websites. Or I think Lloyd put it up on social media somewhere. Which was it? This Facebook group or that Facebook group? It's all gonna be there. It's all gonna live at dxcentrallive.com. So let's see. Got the new website announced. We got the time off announced. We got our daytime challenge announced. We got our results announced. What's left to do? How about some more DX? You guys want to do some more DX? I think it's time for some more DX. So we're gonna spend the rest of tonight DXing 580 to 600, 576 to 600, 580, 590, 600 here. Again, you have overtime bonus time here to get your entries in on the Google form, so I'm not going to cut it off here at the top of the hour. We're not announcing a new frequency for the frequency challenge at the top of the hour. That'll come when we join back in on January 6th after this week is after our break's over. If you have a frequency that you want us to check out in addition to the 3 that we're DXing tonight, if you want us to check, hey, I'm hearing so-and-so is not there, or hear something else, especially since we're pointing our antenna south, if maybe you hear something you think might be Latin America, bring it to you, boy. Let me hear it. Let me see those frequencies. We'll all tune up together and see what we hear. But we're going to spend, unless anyone has any requests, we're going to focus here on 580, 590, 600. Might do a little phasing demo to try to get rid of local WVOG and see what's underneath them and stuff like that. So, also, don't forget your shout outs. We're going to get your shout outs in, and I'm going to keep an eye on FM. Let's actually look at that really quick while I'm thinking about it. Let's look at fmlist.org and see if we have anything recent here. I haven't looked at it in the last hour or two since some folks up in the Northeast were hearing stuff a little bit ago, which I did post up on Twitter, twitter.com/DXCentral, for those of you who are still there, still kicking on Twitter. We're still there. We post everything announcement-wise up there as well, so make sure you're following us. Oh, yeah, look at that. All right, let's keep an eye on this. We're gonna actually, oh man. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn off the Perseus for a second. We're gonna turn on the Elad. I want to do this with the Elad because I'd forgotten that I have the bandpass filter to weed out the FM signals on the W6 LVP loops. Normally, you can DX FM on a W6 LVP loop, just so you're aware. You can do it. I've done it. But I don't know that that's going to work this time. So let's go ahead and kick over here to our Elad FDMS3. I've got my 10 megahertz spacing or bandwidth here. We've got our Yagi antenna. So let's go back to that map really quick and look and see from my location here. So if any of you guys, because we don't do a lot of FM here, right? We don't have a lot of openings when we're doing our broadcast. So what this is the E-skip donut. So if you're looking at this, basically what you can, in theory, should be able to do is find your location, which for me is right here. And then what you should be hearing, if everything is even, right, would be directly across this donut from you. So I should be hearing Bill up in your neck of the woods in Michigan, Wisconsin, maybe a little New York, and you guys should be hearing down here into Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas right now. Keegan, I didn't see if you were on the chat here, or any of our Arkansas folks. Haley, if you're on here, you guys would be hearing up in here as well into maybe Ontario, New York, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio, somewhere in here. Now, the closer you get here to the area that's kind of in the clearing, that's where the cloud probably is. The E-skip cloud is probably sitting at. Now you can have multiple clouds. So I've actually had it before where I've been sitting and hearing from Charleston. I would sit in here, up in here in the Northeast, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, all that kind of stuff. And also hearing North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, because we had more than one cloud. So this is just kind of a guideline. So definitely, if you're wanting to follow along with us, we're going to get to the AM stuff here in a few moments, but let's take a quick look and see what we can hear down low here on the low end of the band. Start. Let me unplug it and plug it back in. I have so many USB devices here that sometimes it gets conflicts and stuff like that in here, so I have to unplug and replug and do all that kind of stuff sometimes. It can be a pain, but it's not that bad.
All right, let me see if it'll fire up now. This should do it. This should do the trick. And I'm not worried about copyright, probably, unless we have some songs playing here, but we're going to start off in the low end of the band first and see if anything is down here, down low. Well, come on. There we go. All right, let's take a look. So when you have these E-skip openings, what you typically want to do is start in the low end of the band, which in the US is 88.1 megahertz, and you want to then try to continue to travel up and see how high the MUF or maximum usable frequency is. The higher it goes, as it goes up into 102, 103, 104, 105, up to 107 and beyond, what typically happens is the skip on this lower end of the band is going to get shorter and shorter and shorter, and the longer stuff is going to be high, high, high. Typically, not always, but typically, that's what you're going to normally see. So let's take a look here and see if we have anything coming in on 88.1. And I need to throw this antenna, I'm right now at 290 degrees. Let's throw it at 45. So I'm moving my Yagi around now. And if we don't hear anything, that's fine. We'll flip it back around to the AM side of things and see if we can hear anything on there. What we're listening for is any bursts of signals. Usually it can be a lot of pulsing. Depending on the cloud, it can come in fast, it can come in slow pulsing. It could be a lot of things. All right, we're at 45 degrees. Now, just because I don't hear anything here doesn't mean that we don't have an opening. So let me take a look and see if we have anything else coming in on some of my other open frequencies. You'll see I have some spots marked on my waterfall here as open. That's kind of where I just kind of go look and see if we have anything. So that's one of the things you'll want to try to do, is try to find an open frequency that you can use to try to see if anything is there. Open meaning you don't have anything local, nothing strong there, no HD signal. So if you're sitting at 93.3 and they have an HD signal on 93.1 and 93.5, don't use those two frequencies. You can still hear stuff there if it's a really strong opening, but it has to be a strong opening to overcome your locals, even HD stuff sometimes. So let me just take a look at some of these other open frequencies and see if we have any inkling of any kind of opening here whatsoever. That's a local. Nothing on 88.5. Nothing on 88.7. Just making sure I have everything plugged back in. All right. Those are all locals. Mississippi, Baton Rouge, stuff like that. Here's one of these right here. When I go to 91 or 90.1 or 89.9, sorry. That's a local. So this HD signal right here is kind of blocking out what I want to be able to try to gear. And same thing here on 90.1. Let me go up to 93. That's a local, I believe. I believe that's Mississippi.
There's something called communal reservations, which are managed by indigenous people.
I think that's Mississippi Public Radio, if I remember right. So let's go to 90.5. Nothing. 91. That's a local. This is one where I would expect that if we're going to have an opening, I would have the possibility of hearing something here. Let's go to 91.7 and see what I have on my FM list here. We do have a station in Gulfport, Mississippi, which is to my east a little bit. American Family Radio. Not hearing them possibly. Yeah, maybe that might be them. Let me move that east a little bit. Yeah, that's probably them. It's not that. It's like 60 miles, so it's not that bad. Not that far. All right. Let me go. I got a couple more here. I'll try. This is 92.1 that usually, this is where the commercial portion of the FM band comes in. So if I'm going to have an opening this high, I think most of the MUF, maximum usable frequency, most of the MUF this week that I've seen has been below 92. So I don't know if we would be getting this high at all, but if it is, that's a good opening. Because these guys up in this portion of the band and up, they ID a lot because they're commercial. They're IDing like crazy. The ones in the lower end of the band below 92.1 and the educational nonprofit end of the band, they don't ID as much. A lot of long programs. It's a lot like AMDX down the low end. Yeah, I'm just not seeing a whole lot here. Here's one of my locals. Yeah. All right, yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. I don't see a whole lot here right now for us. I mean, you can also kind of see it visually. Let me... Visually, with some of these locals here, it's kind of probably overloading a little bit, so I can probably actually back this down just a wee. Doesn't really make a difference a whole lot, but... yeah, we'll just keep an eye on it, and if anything pops up, then we'll be gravy and give it a shot. And if not, then... no harm, no foul. Now, here's the fun part. Can we get my Perseus back up and running with the Elad also running? Sometimes they don't like each other. Yeah. There we go. Now it's running. Okay. So let's go ahead and get back to some AMDX here. What time is it? 139 UTC. Okay, we should be good here. Go ahead and do some DX, some live DX. We're sitting on 600.
Welcome back. This is Milan Vukovic, founder of the Tehillah Trust.
All right, so we're going to do a little work here to try to phase out our local WVOG. I'm assuming this is Rebeldy here that we have here. The Spanish station that's in here sounds kind of Rebeldy-ish. And then here in a second, I'm going to go over and look for some shout-outs for you guys. Actually, let's go ahead and do that now. I'm going to take a quick break because we want to do that. And when we come back, we'll do some live DX. But go ahead and send me any shout-outs you guys have. New logs, new states, new countries. Let's go ahead and get those in, and we'll add those to... our celebrations that we're going to have here in just a little bit. So go ahead, send those over in the chat. We'll get right back with more live DX right here on DX Central Live.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AMDXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News Member Bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teague Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teaguepublishing.com for more information. That's teaguepublishing.com. From the pages of its DX Monitor Member Bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AMDX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AMDXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana. Our final broadcast of 2022, right? We're going to be taking the next 2 weeks off in case you joined us a little late. And with that, that means we're going to be taking off the 23rd. We're taking off the 30th. We'll be back on January the 6th with our next broadcast. And we'll be taking that same time off for our medium wave frequency challenge as well. So no challenge the next 2 weeks from that standpoint, but we are doing our daytime challenge. Full details on that are available on our website. You just saw dxcentralonline.com. Look for the blog post that talks about the new inaugural, I'm hoping to make this annual, daytime medium wave challenge. You guys have been sending over your shout outs over here in the chat. Keep that going. We're going to take a look at those here in a little bit. Seeing some good FM reports coming in from you guys now. So I'm going to continue to keep an eye on it from our side and see if we have anything pop up. I'm still not seeing a whole lot. Let me move my antenna just a little bit and see if maybe that might help give me a different look. Because sometimes I get noise and just here on the low end of the band on, you know what? Hold on. What is 90? See it here on 90. We got something here on 93.9, so let's take a look and just see what it is. I'll show you guys here what we got. I don't have a gear title here to show you what I'm running on the FM side. I'll fix that for next time.
It's now available at gcnhemp.com or call 877-878-4203.
What kind of help does the IRS have for identity theft victims?
If you suspect you're a victim of tax-related identity theft, go to irs.gov/identity theft to learn how to prevent potential refunds.
Let me see, Sean, if this will work. Again, I've got a bandpass filter here on my splitter that I have for those two antennas going to my RSPDX and then down to my 93.9, since I know I'm hearing something there. Well, we can get it to work. 93.900. Oh, come on. 93.900. That's what I meant to do. Okay. So let's see if we do have anything FM coming in. Again, I've got this bandpass filter on here. I'm not sure if it's going to work or not, but we're going to try it out and see. This is using a W6LVP loop.
At GCN Team, our Healthy Body Weight Loss System simply neutralizes the body, bringing down cravings. It has been proven that nutritional deficiencies drive appetite for carbs, sugars, and fats. Lose weight the easy way. Find us at gcnteam.com or call 877-878-4203. Fighting cravings is a fool's game. Give the body what it needs to be satisfied. Again, 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
We still do email. Drop your email address in the entry box at freetalklive.com, and you'll be kept in the loop with Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Phones are open, and you can join us here if you want to. 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160. We do have a TikTok channel, by the way, and you can go there to...
Let me pull up my station list. Oh, I bet you that's Slidell. That's probably WSLA, which is 1560 AM. I bet that's who that is.
We've breathed some life into it. Bonnie created it earlier this year. And farm.com for a quote today.
This is
Savings at your hot neighbor supermarkets. Smithfield Sprouts Sliced Hams, $2.49 a pound.
local.
Corn raised shrimp, $5.99 a pound. Fresh Boston butt pork roast, $1.39 a pound.
Local. This one I don't know. This one could be local or near local.
This week at Staples, save 40% on. Thanks for your business this year. Save 40% on. Save 40% on.
I'm not seeing any RDS here.
Right now at Staples, you can save 40% on custom printed holiday cards and invitations.
But you can see here, this is right. This is W6 LVP loop doing FMDX. I'm actually, this is the W6 LVP loops running through an MFJ phaser, running through that splitter, and this is both antennas. That's what this is.
When you call 911 and ask for help, first responders show up. Now, let's show up for the people who show up for us every day.
Yeah, Sean, I think that was a syndicated talk show.
rcf.org to learn more. The Department of Veterans Affairs is so innovative, it not only improves the lives of veterans, it transforms the
I'm going to guess this is probably either JZ 94.5 or KSMB. One of the two. I can also check that 6-meter FT8 here and see if we have anything going on here too. We're gonna do all of it tonight. We're gonna DX a little bit of everything tonight. I knew it. KSMB, that's Lafayette. So we're gonna just keep an eye on this here. Let me swing back over to the Elad, see if we're hearing the same thing. Not hearing anything. Let me keep moving my antenna here a little bit and see if I can pull anything in this way. We just got so much overload from all these stations here in the New Orleans area. Now that, if you look at that waterfall, that looks like there's a lot there, doesn't it? Looks like there's a lot of signals in here. 96.3, that's a local. That's a New Orleans station.
Your Weather Authority and Bounce TV, I'm meteorologist Natasha Norwood. report is sponsored by Pfizer. When temperatures drop,
I bet this is throwback 96.5 or 3.
at high risk, act fast. Even if your symptoms feel mild. Ask
Oh, Barry says we got the carrier here from La Nueva Radio Ya. So since this is probably local, I'm hearing on the FM side. Let's go over to our AM side here on 600 and see if we can get rid of VOG in here, Nicaragua, shall we? If anybody has their live stream up, they have a really good live stream at Nicaragua, La Nueva Radio Ya. Or if you're hearing them and want to compare what we're hearing on our side, let me know if you hear what I'm hearing and we're matching up.
This also helped me with my rotor arthritis or something different. One time I got a phone call from a man in Florida who's a customer of ours, and he says, Elad, there's something you didn't tell me about the teeth. And I go, really? What's that? Well, he says, I'm an older
Hey, Tom.
man. I have toenail fungus. My toenail fungus is completely gone. My toes are now the only beautiful thing in my body. And I go, well, of course, the tea naturally has antifungal properties. It comes from the only tree in the world that says that's the grow wild. And he said, well, that's fantastic. And I said, well, yeah, because I mean, the only thing we talk about when you call this was
Now, where I would expect to see them, wow, they're really tight. 600.005. That's gonna be tough to flush. Right about here. Right about this one. Would you say, Barry? Is that probably who that is? If we had to guess, it's probably them. And so that means I have gotten rid of them here. So let me see if I can pull them back in. Doop. By going back to my south phasing CAS. I was trying to phase there for a second. Oh, I'm way back there. I went way back. So now we're back on our southern CAS. Carl at 600. This is one of my all-time favorites. It's on my top 10 list for Latin American stations you can try to hear tonight on AM radio. This is always just, if you're in the southeast, eastern U.S., you've got a shot at him here with yikes bikes. Get him back in here. I may have had him better on the southeast wire, if I'm going to be honest with you, than the south. And the south is pointing pretty close to him. But the south is also, see, it's getting wiped out. The southeast is getting wiped out here by all my New Orleans stuff. Oh, no, it was just noise. I've got to clean the contacts on that antenna switch for the southeast wire. Let's go back in here and listen to the audio. Make sure we got that in now. Okay, so they're kind of buried in here now with Cuba and my local New Orleans station. So let me go back in and see if I can phase enough in here to be able to single them out. I'll get it down in here a second. And while we're doing that, it's about that time. And I wasn't even looking over the chat, Bill, until I turned around and turned the lights on. Did that one all on my own. We'll circle back around here in a bit to the shout-outs. I'll give you guys the list of who I have and see who I'm missing, and then we'll get you in here for some shout-outs here at the top of the hour.
Tenemos que prepararnos bien. Puedo decir que el equipo se está preparando bien. Una prueba hoy fue el tío ayer que perdió a 10 asaltos y perdió el último asalto como si fuera el primero. Eso te da una idea de que hay un nivel de preparación en nuestros atletas y pensamos que con los eventos que vamos a tener del propio boxeo profesional nos van a servir también de preparación para hacer un buen papel en el centroamericano, en el campeonato mundial y en el campeonato panamericano.
Boxeadoras cubanas buscarán preseas en los Juegos Centroamericanos y del Caribe del Salvador.
Bueno, Pacheco, tema boxeo, escuchabas a Alberto Puy de la Barca, presidente de la federación. Mañana se va a efectuar un cartel de 12 peleas.
So they were in better earlier.
Ahí trataremos de estar bien temprano la mañana. La cartelera de la capital, pero creo que vale la pena.
To help you regain control of your sleep, all in a safe and private online environment. So as the online survey can wake up to a better future at myapnea.org, a public service from the American Sleep Apnea Association. Visit your Bible study tonight.
No, that's not.
Oh, I didn't say anything. I can see you. You grab your Bible and help while I set the time.
Are you sure? Speaker got
Okay, there we go. Now we're going to trace back again. It's a weak one.
Los pesos medianos 75. Estas son las divisiones. Hay 6 divisiones para las mujeres.
Ahorita no va a pasar de 2 años que Cuba sea los mejores ya en Salvador.
Sí, yo creo que ahí van a llegar. Ahí van a llegar las primeras medallas.
Sí, seguro.
Y estoy convencido que alguna va a ser de oro. Yo creo que sí, que alguna va a entrar a la historia como la primera medallista en un evento deportivo del boxeo cubano.
Como fue el primero Orlando Martín,
y en cuanto al masculino, Pacheco, serán solo 7 divisiones para los Juegos Panamericanos.
Here we go.
Ahí también obtuvo medalla nuestro amigo Orlando Barbey. Bueno, Pacheco, te decía que son 7 divisiones solamente en el
Now that could also be.
para los Juegos Panamericanos de Santiago de Chile. Recordarán que fueron 10 en Lima y se ganaron 8 títulos en los Juegos Panamericanos de Lima. Yo soy convencido de que para ese evento Julio César La Cruz, el doble campeón olímpico, va por oro. Roniel Iglesias va también a buscar el oro. Es decir, son posibilidades reales que tenemos de sumar preseas áureas en estos Juegos Panamericanos. En el caso de Lázaro Álvarez, Arlen López, Giovanni Beitía y bueno, Joely Feliciano Hernández, que ahora ya se convirtió en campeón mundial y que es uno de los boxeadores que ha mostrado una gran progresión sobre el cuadrilátero en los últimos meses, Pacheco. Se ha convertido en una de las principales figuras de Cuba, este camagüeyano.
Estamos acercando de Estados Unidos el máximo medalla de oro olímpica. Estamos acercando la diferencia ya no está tan grande. Aparte de Juegos Olímpicos más, Cuba puede darle alcance a Estados Unidos.
Vamos a ver cuando ya termine esta generación en los Juegos de París, con Julio, Roniel, Lázaro, Arlen, Beitía. El relevo tiene que bueno, tratar de mantener esos resultados de una generación que ha sido histórica también para el boxeo cubano. Porque estamos hablando de que Julio es 2 veces campeón olímpico, Roniel es 2 veces campeón olímpico, campeón mundial, Julio 5 veces campeón mundial, Lázaro ha sido 3 veces medallista olímpico.
All right, I'm recording on the SDR here. While we do that, let me pull up their live stream. They have a really good
health insurance can be expensive.
That's not their live stream. That's an ad on their live
Sell
stream.
the cat and cancel all our streaming subscriptions. We'll be able to afford great coverage.
You mean
Yikes.
cost plans that fit your budget. We're on a mission to
We're going to let that roll.
Great money.
Thanks, Art. Appreciate you being here, man.
Ayer conectaron 2 imparables. Uno fue el cuadrangular de Jesús López.
So this is their live
2,
stream.
4, llevan 4. 4 y 2 son 6, 6 y 2 son 8.
Let's see if we hear any of that in here.
Seguimos en el programa de la familia cubana deportivamente. Vamos a recibir el reporte del periodista Carlos Serpa Macei. La graduación 74 aniversario de la Revolución del nivel superior de la Universidad Eliseo Reyes Rodríguez, capitán San Luis, del Ministerio del Interior Medellín, se efectuó en La Habana un acto político militar.
So the main Spanish station here that we're hearing, it sounds like they're on the phone, that is Rebelde in Cuba.
Y salieron molestos, o estaban molestos, porque no les dieron almuerzo.
This is the live stream.
Efectúa en las facultades regionales de Villa Clara, Camagüey y Santiago de Cuba. La graduación de más de 1.500 estudiantes, una buena parte de ellos cadetes, sería un importante periodo de dedicación y esfuerzo en el que se terminó la actividad docente en las diferentes modalidades de estudio, con tareas prácticas y aseguramiento operativo. Por sus resultados docentes y investigativos, 42 estudiantes fueron merecedores de la condición del título de oro, 7 de premio al mérito científico. De ellos, 3 tienen la doble condición.
Nueva radio ya la emisora del primer lugar, la boerista, la deportiva, la galáctica, la bimbolera. Demasiado está haciendo un chino los jugadores.
Ernesto Acosta Martínez, ingeniero en informática con perfil operativo, y obtuvo el premio al mérito científico y lectura al compromiso de los egresados.
Lubricantes Chevron.
I bet you that 005. Well, no, that's a little low. Maybe closer in. I'm just shocked if it's that strong on the waterfall. I'm not hearing a hint.
Agentes, profesores y tutores asumieron con responsabilidad el reto impuesto por la pandemia, lo que conllevó al seguimiento y la aprobación de alternativas para garantizar la continuidad del proceso educativo en diferentes escenarios. Realiza el Ministerio del Interior graduación de nivel superior aniversario 74 de la Revolución, con la asistencia técnica de José Félix Pires. Yo soy Carlos Serpa Maceira para Radio Rebelde. Gracias, Serpa.
En el mismo juego en esta liga.
I'm not hearing. Let's see what else we had here on 590 and 580. No, hold on. Let's try upper sideband.
Número 1, lo ponen fuera, se va de una. Como el dolor de cabeza se va con Ferodor Mike. Ferodor ataca el Mike, fuerte dolor de cabeza. Los 5:30, carretera norte.
Son las 9:06, Pacheco, vamos a recibir los proyectos.
Buenas noches a todo el colectivo de Deportivamente. Hace varios días que no escuchaba el programa por X razones, pero escuché ahora en los inicios.
Yeah, I don't know, I'm not hearing. Let's try 590. Probably just gonna be this. Gnarly sounding Cuban, so yeah. That should stand out. And 580.
Judas Maccabees. Having successfully
They didn't record
and won over the armies of Antiochus IV.
That's why.
The Jewish army goes to the where Antiochus IV has disrespected the temple by placing there what's referred to as the Great Abomination. It's not something explicitly described in.
That's probably Maria again. So That's what I'm guessing. We're going to keep an eye on this one, though. We're going to keep trying for 600 in Nicaragua here. We'll come back, take a quick break. When we come back, we'll do some more searching for Nicaragua. And let me go here and I do this and I do that. Okay. Yeah, we'll search some more for Nicaragua. I mean, if I'm seeing that signature on the waterfall, I should hear something. Maybe if that's them. But we'll see. We'll do more live DX right after this on DX Central Live.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AMDXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News Member Bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teague Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teaguepublishing.com for more information. That's teaguepublishing.com. From the pages of its DX Monitor Member Bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AMDX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AMDXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana. Boy, we are glitchy on the webcam right now, aren't we? Let's go over here on this one. It actually works out nice because I have some work to do on this computer over here. So we're here from the North Shore Studios in Mandeville, Louisiana, doing some live DX. Been looking on FM, been looking on AM. Got a little bit of e-skip opening that's happening right now, which we're going to take another look at the map here in a moment and see how that's flushing out. We have FM or AM that we're DXing rather, looking for right now Nicaragua. See if we can hear Nicaragua, because that'd be great if we could, and add that. If you joined us late, we are extending out this week's challenge. So the 576 to 600 challenge was going to end here at the top of the hour we just had. We're actually extending that out a bit further into tomorrow sometime. I don't know exactly when. I'll just turn off the form, and that'll be that. But give you guys some extra time to get some of those logs in. Maybe if you were holding on to a couple that you hadn't had a chance to get to yet, or you were still trying for some, and you want to give that a shot, you still have time to do that. So let's go back and take a look now here at that map here, the FM list e-skip map, and woof, it's looking good here. Looking good here, folks. If you are DXing, I think that's probably, yep, that's Bill. So be like Bill. If you're doing some FM DX and you're hearing anything, make sure you have an account with FM List and you're logging it through FM List. That allows all of us to have an idea of when there's an opening going on. If you just keep that information to yourself, none of the rest of the folks get a chance to be part of the fun. That's not good. That's not very DXer like, right? We want to all share in the fun. So if you are DXing and hearing some good stuff, then make sure you let us know by logging it here on fmlist.org, and that'll produce this map that you see here, so we can all take a look at it. One thing I am working on right now, actually, is putting up a post on the blog here. I was kind of working on it when we were doing our commercial break there. I'm working on putting up a blog post on our upcoming DX test. I want to make sure we talk about that as well this evening, because we do have a DX test coming up next week. It is for 1100 WCGA in Woodbine, Georgia. Those call letters, by the way, stand for Wonderful Coastal Georgia. I know this because when I was in Charleston, they were a daytime station for me down there. We should have a pretty good beat on them. Last time I did a DX test from WCGA, we had a really good beat on them and be able to pick them up. So we should have a good opportunity to hear them here. So we are going to live stream that DX test. We're taking the week off for this show, but we will be running the live stream. I'm just going to put it up and let it run. And that way, if anyone is trying to hear WCGA, want to compare what they're hearing to what we're hearing, you have an opportunity to do so. Now, the blog post, like I said, it's about to be up here in a little bit. Just got to do some formatting on it to kind of clean it up a little bit and make it look nice and presentable. But it's got all the information on QSLing and things like that. The start times, which for us, we're going to start at 10:45 Eastern time Friday night. That's what time we're going to start our live stream. That's 15 minutes before it starts. 10:45 Central time. I messed that one up. 10:45 Central time Friday night. We're going to start doing our live stream. The DX test starts at 11 o'clock Central or midnight Eastern Saturday morning. That's 0500 or 0501, I think is what it's supposed to be, on Saturday morning UTC time. So just make sure that you are keeping an eye out I know Les has put it up in the forums, the Facebook groups. I've been talking about on Twitter a little bit, and I'm, like I said, about to put this blog post up here in a little bit. I'm just doing some formatting right now for it to clean it up a little bit and make sure it's ready, and publish. There it goes. So go up to the website now if you wanted the details on this DX test, dxcentralonline.com. We'll have all the details for you there to tell you when to listen for WCGA 1100. Again, we will go live with our live stream here on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook at 10:45 Central Time. That is midnight Eastern Time, Saturday morning. We're doing it 10:45 Friday night Central Time. Okay? Because the DX test will actually start at 11 o'clock Central Time, which is 9 o'clock Pacific Time for you folks on the West Coast. All right, so we're doing some searching here on FM. We're doing some searching on AM. We're making sure we keep an eye out here for for Nicaragua, as well as maybe an e-skip opening if anything makes its way down here. We're seeing some reports, as we saw a few moments ago, from folks that are hearing stuff. So I did want to make sure we mentioned this hour of Live DX is brought to you by the National Radio Club. NationalRadioClub.org is a website for more information about becoming a member today of the NRC. Make sure that you check them out. It'd be a great Christmas gift, by the way, for yourself or for that DXer in your life that you want to get something nice for. Why not? It'd be fun. I do have a list of shout-outs. I'm going to read you guys the names I have here for the shout-outs. If I'm missing you and you sent me one, I probably missed it. The chat's been going crazy. You guys have been talking up a storm, which is awesome. I love to see it. So if I don't call your name and you have some shout-outs you want to get in on this first round, then please let me know. Steph, I got you in there. Stephanie, I'm not sure if you like when people shorten to Steph. So Stephanie, got you in there. Troy, Sean, Mike, and Haley. Got all of you on my shout-out list here. So if I missed you, if you have a new station, a new state, or a new country that you got in the last 7 days since our last time we met here, please make sure you let me know in the chat. I'll get you into the list here, and we'll get you a shout-out here a bit later on when we stop to look for those here after a little bit more live DX here on the AM side. Before we do that, let's go back to our FM side and just take a gander and see if anything might be lurking about. I'm going to go down to 92.1. We'll start there and see if we have anything coming in. Nope. That's a local. Boy, I tell you, it's a mess. I might need to look at that FM antenna because I have not been impressed with the performance of it since I moved here. When I was in Charleston, that antenna was a badass. The Stellar Labs 4 element, it was crushing it. But here, since I got here to New Orleans, I don't know if I'm getting overload. I don't know. I don't know what it is, guys. You can see, look at that waterfall. That's a mess. And there are certain directions where I turn it into, and it's the entire one. So I'm thinking it's probably an overload issue or some noise, some interference, but I just can't seem to peg it out. Let's go down here down low. We do have something here now. So if I'm looking here on the map, I should be seeing around Michigan, Ontario. So I should be seeing Bill's neck of the woods here. If everything what I'm seeing is correct, I'd be seeing Southeast Michigan, maybe a little bit of this Pennsylvania, New York, Ontario. I should be seeing this area right in here if this is correct. And this is what, if I'm seeing anything at all. But I don't think that's probably not Michigan. I don't think so. That sounded a little too southern accented to be, and I do have some religious stations in this area here. Let me also check on the W6LVP loops here with the RSPDX. And let's go down. We got something on 92.5 here. Maybe. Let's go with 90.5.
By which I can be saved, except the name of Jesus. When you commit your life to Christ,
That's a possibility.
that you'll never have
Let me see if I can remember here.
In fact, when I came to Christ, my problems compounded because my former
It has been a hot minute.
the friends that I was, or so-called friends, in my pre-Christ life made life hell for me. And problems expanded, not decreased. So I'm telling you this because we have no small prints in the Christian faith. We tell you the truth, and the truth is the Word of God.
I don't remember how to turn on RDS and SDR Uno, guys. Anybody remember how to turn it on? I don't remember where it is. I remember there's a button for it to turn on RDS, but I don't recall where it is. Let me see. Is it here?
Above your difficulties of life, high above the pain that
No.
you have experienced in life. He will lift you so high all the way to eternity. And when you're so high, you look down, your problems look so insecure in comparison.
I don't know. If anybody remembers how to turn RDS on,
And testify that this is the truth. When you walk with Christ,
I don't remember how to do it.
your life will never be the same.
We'll come back to that here in a minute. Let's go back over to our AM side as well. We've still got a decent signal on the waterfall from what could be Nicaragua. Let's see if it's them. All right, so I'm gonna go back over here and see if anybody mentioned any shout outs here in the chat, and we'll get you in here. So if I didn't call your name earlier, I'll check you here in a second and see if we have you in there.
Revelation 21, verses 3 through 5. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor cry, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. He that sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. A message from God's word. The Bible.
How's it going? Pretty good. Joyce Meyer's radio broadcast on your iPod. Yeah. Since I downloaded it this morning. You do that every morning. My computer automatically does it every morning. It's so much better. Not a thing. It's completely free. You sure about that? Yeah, check it out for yourself. You go to Joyce's website, joycemeyer.org.
Yo lo tengo escrito, ahora no me lo sé de memoria. Se lo voy a pasar después por aquí. De esas 5 regiones, lo que queden en la serie nacional del 1 al 16 lo que queden en frontera serían los que cogerían los nombres del, o sea, la región tal que puede ser cafetalero, los santiagueros los cafetaleros de Santiago, o los cafetaleros de Granma, los cafetaleros de Guadalajara.
Is that them underneath, Barry?
Los ganaderos de Camagüey,
I hear a station underneath here between rebellion in the U.S.
Formado por los talentos sin límite de edad, como un equipo más de todo el talento que hay en Cuba del deporte. Esa es la proposición que estamos haciendo en este momento con la Peña Prado Lavañino, con el apoyo
Thanks, Bill.
del amigo Frank.
I got it on now. There it is.
Saludar en este fin de año, por eso voy a extender a la dirección del programa muy profesionalmente ha trabajado durante todo el año.
We're in lower on this one here now.
Ha brindado un servicio al pueblo cubano, a los aficionados del deporte, de todos los deportes, de este programa deportivamente.
All right, I got Carl, I got David, I got Haley, I got Mike, I got Sean, I got Troy, I got Stephanie. If I've not mentioned your name and you have a shout out for me, new law, new state, new country, get it in. That signal's gotten weak on me now. Map's gone blank on us now on the FM in the last 30 minutes. So I'm not seeing any more E-skip opening here. So there's Memphis in there for us. WREC is now in, which I don't think I had them this week. No, I had not put them on the challenge for myself this week. So let's go ahead and put that in now. They're fading back in. I have them right now. I'm having to phase out my local Barry. So I have them on a mix of the south and the southeast wires, trying to phase out VOG as much as I possibly can. And also, obviously, Memphis and some of these others, but it's tough. It's tough sledding. But you can see that signal's getting a little stronger again now.
Después te llevas una serie a 4 juegos, a 2 juegos si tú quieres, a todo lo que quieras. Puedes comenzar con un bloque de 6. Yo por mi parte le deseo a todos ahora todos vienen aprendidos. Peña, por ejemplo, en Santiago de Cuba. Santiago no está representada aquí. Santiago de Cuba puede estar la Peña de Lucida. Puede estar también Camagüey, que tiene un trabajo muy fuerte en las Peñas de Lucida. Entonces, le buscamos acomodo a esto. Puesto ahí para todos los chicos. Es importante que todos vengan. Yo les voy a pedir, por favor,
I think I hear him.
retirando de vacaciones de hoy. Les deseo a todos un feliz año nuevo, mucha salud. Vamos a seguir trabajando. Este primer año terminó con la temporada de la con 23 puntos. La Cristo va a ser con 26 y el montón de serie con 17 puntos. El próximo año ya 6 comenzamos en cero todo el mundo y vamos a ver cómo logramos que las señas deportivas y radio tengan un recuerdo para toda la vida de que fueron campeones y tercer lugar de la señas deportivas.
Bueno, Marcelo, yo en nombre de todos los oyentes y bueno, del colectivo,
DAVE.
No, come on.
$100 is
Gracias, Pacheco. Un buen fin de año y bueno, esperamos el próximo día 4. Aquí en el programa de la familia Semana. Nos vamos con Julián Reyes, la segunda entrega.
A través del satélite.
They were loud. So here's that live stream.
Es el conteo. En AutoGo somos tu mejor alternativa en repuestos.
Rick, I do have them, just not this week. They've been here before. Just haven't heard them this week.
25. AutoGo, repuestos a tu alcance.
AutoGo, repuestos a tu alcance.
Oh man, that little fanfare would have been nice.
Sobre esta temática, revelando que han tenido charlas tanto con ATP como con los Grand Slam. Es realmente bueno que la ATP esté más abierta para ayudar a todos, porque si nos sancionan por segundo año, no veremos cambios y será peor para el tenis. Solo hacemos más juego en el tenis y no ayuda a la situación. Estamos ofreciendo ayuda en cualquier dirección que sea posible. Queremos demostrar que el tenis puede ser más grande que la política, expresó el actual número 8 del mundo. Seguimos con más a través del satélite. El campeón olímpico de jabalina de la India, Neeraj Chopra, se convirtió en el deportista de atletismo sobre el cual más se escribió en 2022, superando el mítico astro de Jamaica y Usain Bolt, ya retirado de la competición. En un año que alcanzó nuevas cotas, Chopra es el atleta más comentado por encima del inigualable campeón de la velocidad, que ocupó ese puesto durante mucho tiempo, confirmó World Athletics. Según la Asociación Mundial de Atletismo, que citó cifras de la empresa de análisis de medios de comunicación Unisecta, Chopra encabeza las listas de popularidad con 812 artículos. El indio sumó más textos del tridente femenino de estrellas jamaicanas encabezadas con la pentacampeona olímpica Elaine Thompson, con 751 artículos, y las actuales titulares mundiales de 100 metros, Shirley Ann Fraser-Price, 698, y de 200 metros, Erika Jackson, con 679, mientras el nombre de Usain Bolt apareció en 574 artículos. Y así termina el segundo y último tiempo de noticias desde el satélite deportivo. Gracias por su sintonía.
I'm pretty sure that's them underneath.
Siga con nosotros en Deportivamente.
Gracias, Luis. Son las 9:36 minutos. Seguimos en Deportivamente. Vamos a recibir otro oyente.
Buenas noches, Ángelo. Una llamada de agradecimiento de agradecimiento la cosa. Madre ahí.
Oh, it's just so weak. Normally they're a lot louder, but normally I don't have Cuba or VOG in the way to deal with. When I've heard them, those two kind of either VOG was off, not broadcasting, like just that someone turned a fader down, or Rebellion wasn't there. But tonight I've got them both to deal with, which is lovely. All right, let's do our first round of shout outs here, and we'll circle back around. So again, if I don't mention your name here in this round of shout-outs, fear not. And the second round of shout-outs will be coming here in our next hour before we adjourn tonight. So let me cue up the old chainsaw. All right, you guys ready? Starting off with David. David got himself a new one this week. The one new station for David. David's Radio Room. Congratulations, David! All right, next we've got Mike Westfall, Mesa Mike, our good friend Mesa Mike, snagged WKAQ from Puerto Rico. Congratulations, my friend. That's a good one. Oh man, love that sawdust. Stephanie got a new one here with KKOB and was it KCBC? Two very pesty stations for her. Got 770K ATL in Montana. Good job, Stephanie. I don't know why, but my horn is a little sluggish today. I stepped into that one, didn't I? Let me try closing a couple of windows here. See if this works. It's a little better. All right. Next up, we've got Troy. Troy got 4 new ones. WSNL, live from wherever that one's from. WVOG here in New Orleans. Good job. KLBJ Austin and KXSP in Omaha. You lucky guy. I was trying for them all week. Rick didn't send any of that DX dust down my way. Dang it, Rick. What else do I have open that I can close? I can close that window. I can probably go ahead and close that window. Yeah, that'll help. You're gonna see a little of this glitchy. Okay, let me switch cameras real quick while we do this. See if this is any better. It's better. That's what I was looking for. Okay. So we got Troy in there. We got 7 new ones for Sean. And of those 7 new ones for Sean, one of those is one of my old stations I used to be at. 600 WCVP Big 6 Radio in Murphy, North Carolina. It's actually where I did my internship. And it's one of 2 stations in the city of Murphy, North Carolina. When I used to live in Brasstown, they were my locals. They've since added a couple of other stations down in Georgia, but 600 is that one, and then 1320 WKRK is the other one in Murphy. So if you get both of those stations, I'll send you a certificate for the Worked-All Murphy Award. How about that? So Sean, good job on the 7 new ones, including 600 Big Sucks Radio. Now we got the horn blowing. Now we're good to go. Haley got 4 new ones. 4 new ones for Haley this week. Good job, Haley. And we've got Carl with 8 new ones this week. Good job, Carl. All right, so there's our first round. Let's see, I got Stephanie, got Troy, we got Sean, we got Mike, we got Haley, we got Dave, we got Carl, we got everybody we have in here so far. So if I did not call your name, no worries. I'll be looking for another round of shout outs here in a bit, so we'll get your name in the book and try it out there. Let me go over here and see if the other camera is back up and running here. There it is. I shut down the Elad since we're not seeing anything on FM right now anyway, and when I did, oops, back on this camera now. When I did, things got a little wonky for a second, but we're back. We're good. All right, it's 42 after. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, more live DX on the AM side of things, and we'll see if we can hear Nicaragua. We're trying. We're going to get him in here eventually. And we'll go ahead and add WREC Memphis into our entry for this week's challenge, so we can add that to the list. And we'll see if we can go from there with some more stuff. Now, this next hour of live DX we're about to do here is, or not quite hour, but this next bit of live DX we're going to do is brought to you by International Radio Club of America, IRCAonline.org. Now, I mentioned earlier, NRC is a great Christmas present for yourself or that DXer in your life. Well, so is a membership to the IRCA. I highly recommend you join both clubs. There's no reason not to, honestly. There's every reason that you'll want to join both of those clubs. So make sure you check them out, ircaonline.org and NRC's nationalradioclub.org. Let's go ahead and hit that button there. Now I have to go back over here and do some of that. Before we take a break, I did want to mention one other thing. Our good friend Justin up in Minnesota, UB Studios, will be doing his final live stream of 2022 tomorrow night right here on YouTube as well. So make sure you check him out. UB Studios is his channel name. So check out Justin UB Studios from Minnesota in his live stream tomorrow night right here on YouTube. The final live stream for him as well for 2022. He'll be taking some time off as we are here at DX Central. All right, now quick break. When we come back, more live DX, bringing it to you live and hot right here on DX Central Live.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
Since 1933, the National Radio Club has been serving AMDXers while providing some of the most in-depth information in the hobby. From the annual NRC AM log, a must-have reference for domestic station information, to antenna design reference manuals, and of course, the DX News Member Bulletin, which is filled with station information updates, domestic and international loggings, and a whole lot more. Become a member today. For more information, log on to nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. While the HF bands can be filled with entertaining and intriguing transmissions, how do you know when and where to look? Let Teague Publishing's Global Radio Guide lead the way. In addition to its exhaustive list of time and frequency for international broadcasters, radio hobby icon Gail Van Horn brings you equipment reviews, an SDR buyer's guide, feature articles, and more. Pick up your copy today. Visit teaguepublishing.com for more information. That's teaguepublishing.com. From the pages of its DX Monitor Member Bulletin, members of the International Radio Club of America share their domestic and international AMDX loggings. In its Mexican log, a wealth of information can be found of stations from south of the border. Technical guides, sunrise, sunset maps, and more make the IRCA a must-join for any AMDXer. For more information, log on to ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central.
Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
From the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana, Lloyd Van Horn bringing you live AMDX every Friday night, right here on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook. Now, we won't be here the next 2 weeks. We mentioned that earlier. So if you did join us late, we will not be doing a live show next week or the week after, the next 2 weeks. We will, however, be streaming the WCGA 1100 Woodbine, Georgia DX test on Friday night next week. So instead of being here at 6:45 Central Time. Join us at 10:45 Central Time, and we'll kick off the DX test that will start at 11 o'clock Central. That's midnight Eastern Time Saturday morning, or Friday night, 11 o'clock Friday night, which is 05:01 UTC if you're one of our international friends who are watching us tonight. We'd love to have you join us as well. Before we get into some more live DX here, let's do a real quick look at our DXC Tweet of the Week.
It's time for the DX Central Live hashtag Tweet of the Week. Tweet. Tweet, tweet.
Barry, you read my mind, man. You read? I was sitting there during the break going, when I come back, I'm doing the Tweet of the Week, because I will forget if I don't. This week's Tweet of the Week comes from our good friend up in Newfoundland, sorry. VO1FOG goes by the name of, I think it's Paul, isn't it? Crap, I forgot his name. Sorry, man. Anyway, he actually had a pretty decent opening of some E-skip, some FM E-skip yesterday. And so let's go over here and take a look. And I think some today, too. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what he had. This is our Tweet of the Week from VO1FOG. Short clip of 1 hour FM DX opening into Virginia and North Carolina, either double hop or long single hop skip. 6 meters was also open, he says. So let's take a gander and see what he heard from up in the Maritime provinces.
Listen to the angel. Rejoice.
Did close down the account or suspend it. And then he followed that up by suspending the accounts of about a dozen journalists who reported on what... his appearance with Dave Chappelle, his changing of the rules. So he's really made this a lot about him. It's inevitable that a rich person...
So there you go. I mean, you can... That's classic E-skip, right? The fluxing in, fluxing out. That's every FMDXer's favorite sound, is hearing that fluxing in, fluxing out sound of E-skip opening up. So congrats to our friend VO1FOG, our DXC Tweet of the Week.
It's time for the DX Central Live hashtag Tweet of the Week. Tweet. Tweet, tweet.
All right, so there we go. Let's take a look. We're going to get ready to do some more live AMDX. While we're over on Twitter, though, I want to mention, make sure you follow us on Twitter. Twitter.com/DX Central is our URL to find us there on Twitter. And if you do, let me give you a little gander at what you're going to see. You're going to see stuff like this. So we've got, obviously our live stream is there. Hey, there we are right there on our live stream. But whether there's an alert that I have a chance to be notified of or see that one's happening, or if I'm seeing it's being reported, even if it's not one that I have here, if it's out west or up in the Northeast, whatever, we'll put out a sporadic e-alert whenever we have those opportunities open up. So you'll be able to kind of keep an eye out for those. We also had, obviously this week we had the announcement of the DX test coming up here. We also had, let me get past all my weather stuff from Wednesday. We had WSB off the air this week a couple of times, including, I think, maybe one last night that was unplanned. So we had WSB off a couple of nights, and so folks were hearing Saskatchewan, we're hearing Cuba, so we make sure we talk about those whenever those pop up as well. A reminder that when we knew that it was coming, and then when it was actually occurring, we sent a reminder out as well. And let me go back up here a little bit. Here's another thing that just happened this week. So I've been hearing some really good stuff about this TEF 6686 SDR chip, this FM chip that people are putting in SDRs now, these little self-contained units like this. This is one that you can buy on AliExpress. So I actually put an order for one in today, or this week, yesterday actually. So probably here in 6 to 8 weeks or whatever it might be. So this is going to be apparently a really hot FM rig. Folks say that it is comparable in sensitivity to the famous Sony XDR F1 HD. I don't know. We'll see. But that is on order, so we'll see if that comes in and how it performs with some FMDX. I hear it's not super great on the AM side. We'll give it a shot there too and just take a look. But at least as an FMDX machine, we'll take a look and let you know and see what we think, if it's worth it or not. And yeah, so just give us a chance to get that in, and then we'll try it out. All right, back to some live AMDX, and you guys know what time it is. Live DX from 600 kilohertz. Let's try that out as well here, and see if we can hear Nicaragua. I bet that's them.
My mom is 80.
I bet that's them in there.
Who believeth in the Lord Jesus Christ as his a particle of creation.
Come on.
8 de la noche con 53 minutos. ¿Cómo son?
Oh, wait a minute. Keegan, yeah, that's a fun one. You get those late night Tropo openings. Absolutely, Rick. It's multi-purpose. Yeah, you can use it. I know folks that plug them in to portables. Yeah.
Listo, el pitcher se prepara, viene hacia el home back. Carne asada de res, cerdo y pollo, este ñani.
They were there, they're gone now. Oh, it's silver bullet, man. That loop is a silver bullet.
Caminando.
Pastor Pendarvis invites you to listen to the Radio Missions Internet radio station that presents the Old Trailblazer broadcast, Voice of Truth broadcast, weekly sermons, and music 24 hours a day. For information and a link to listen, visit our website at radiomissions.org. That's radiomissions.org. And be sure to join us again each Monday through Friday on this station for the Old Trailblazer broadcast with Pastor Albert Pendarvis.
Yeah, let's take a look at that one too. Here in a second.
La empresa Copel abarca toda la rama del calzado, tanto para hombres como para mujeres. Un producto más longevo de especialización son las botas de trabajo, la aplicación de la ciencia y la colaboración con una...
Making sure that was rebelling.
Les permitió perfeccionar sus diseños y concebir una bota de seguridad y protección con mejores prestaciones.
Let's go try 580. There's let's see here. Ecuador 580.06 radio union. So it'd be somewhere in this area right in here. Actually, I'm sorry, it's a little bit further out than that. Sorry. I don't do decimal places very well, apparently. Be right back here. So you can see we've got a weak trace here from them. Radio Union 580.06, 10 kilowatts. So we've got a weak trace on them. Let's see if we can improve that at all. Let's start with our southern CAS and see if we have anything just drawn them directly, since I don't have a local to contend with here or Cuba to contend with.
Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses.
So we have this weak trace over here in blue. I want to see if I can get that into a yellow or a red. Think we can?
Amen. In the name of the Father.
All right, I'm going to just adjust my vactrol here.
Amen.
Until we see a nice peak from them.
On this 30th day of the month of July in the year of our Lord 2022. Remember, Saturday, for the first Friday and Saturday for the month. A couple of weeks ago, we spoke about the importance of the first Friday devotion. Observed every Friday.
Well, I've gotten rid of them entirely now, haven't I?
And the promises attached there too, including eternal salvation, which is promise number 12. And with respect to the first Saturday devotion next Saturday, Our Lady of Fatima requested that this be observed by all of us Christians, as it helps.
All right there. Starting to get them back again.
The errors of atheism and the like. So without any further ado, let us begin with this program entitled Learning to Live in God's Divine Will. We will talk, address, reflect upon the reality of the world today.
That's a weak sig.
In particular, the effect that exercise themselves upon us cause consequences, namely confusion.
See if there's anything on the southeast wire here from them. Look at that.
Based on that brief intro, you can probably surmise that I will talk about which is great. We'll also talk about slavery, the result of sin, and freedom, the result of grace. But before I do, let me remind you that when I will refer to the writings of the servant of God,
something's trying to happen here. Now let's see if I can phase these two wires together to really pull them in.
The difference between the two, between sin and grace, slavery and freedom, also touches upon this in his 10th chapter to the Romans. Now,
a little bit better.
To begin with, Paul says that all creation groans with eager longing, waiting for the revelation of the sons of God. Creation itself will be set free from its slavery to corruption and obtain the glorious freedom of the sons of God.
Ah! Now we had to start all over.
The question is, when will this freedom of the sons of God take place? In this letter to the Romans, chapter 8, verses 19 through 21, Paul does not provide the answer, but he does say that it will take place when these mysterious sons of God come on the scene.
I'm not hearing a head.
Set creation free. And in previous broadcasts, I expressed in my theological opinion, not church teaching, just my...
So yeah, it's not even strong enough here yet to produce a hit on 580, so probably not a whole lot in there right now. I do need to make I was noticing I need to make a little bit of an adjustment on my CAS antenna that I think is probably part of why I'm not seeing these signals to the south as loud as I probably should see them. And also to be able to null out the stuff on the backside of it as much as I probably should be able to null them out. The fiberglass pole that I'm using for the mast and the center of my CAS, it's one of those 16-foot center poles. It kind of is twisting and kind of pulling out like this. So it's actually pulling the top sky wire here, and I've got my base wire over here, so it's not like perfectly aligned. It's not directly over like it's supposed to be, and I think that's part of why I'm getting some skewed patterns. So I need to do some adjustments. I'm going to move that that center off a little bit the other way, actually. So right about like here. So instead of being like here right now where it is, and it's kind of like twisting it this way. Let me try to get it here. So it's twisting it like that. So it's off of the antenna. I'm going to move it so it's closer, and that should put it directly above. It's kind of hard to do that when you're backwards. So that's one thing I'll be doing this weekend, is adjusting that kHz a little bit to see if that performance can be enhanced at all. Because when I had it up previously, the first time I had it up, it was an absolute barn burner and worked really, really well. I may shorten it back to 53 feet again. I don't know. Let's see if that has any impact on it. It may. We'll see. All right, so I think that's going to probably do it for tonight. And let us get a chance to give you all some time back to do some more DX here on 580 to 600. You guys will have some time to put some more in the logbook if you're able to hear anything else here on the frequencies. And don't forget to go up to our website, dxcentralonline.com. You'll be able to see there our blog posts about the upcoming WCGA Woodbine DX test coming up on Friday, a week from tonight. We'll be getting ready for that. Reminder that we're off the next 2 weeks here on DXC Live. If you do happen to stop by, if you forget you do happen to stop by, I have a little something that I'll be putting up on the screen for you guys, a little something special, a little something fun. But we won't be here doing a live stream the next 2 weeks. We will be also taking a break from the medium wave frequency challenge. We do have a daytime challenge that'll be running during that time frame, that will run starting now. Basically, you can start logging stuff during the daytime, 2 hours after local sunrise to 2 hours before local sunrise, starting now. And running through 0200 UTC on Monday, the 2nd of January. So give you some extra time to get all that stuff entered into the Google form, which you can find a link for that, again, up on our website, dxcentralonline.com. And then you'll scroll down for the blog post about the inaugural DX Central Medium Wave Daytime Challenge. I'll be putting that up on social media and the email reflectors here in a bit. So you guys can also find it there. And yeah, so I really want to thank you all for your continued support. You know, you've helped us achieve a lot of goals this year that we've been aiming for, and there's still some more that we're working on that I think we're going to be able to achieve. Again, thanks to your support. So from all of us here at DX Central, from the entire Van Horn family, Merry Christmas, my friends. Happy New Year. Best of DX to you. I said it a couple times today. I hope your logbooks are full and your hearts are full of love and joy. So thank you all for being here tonight and every week with us here on DX Central Live. We'll see you again January 6th as we restart season 3 of DX Central Live right here on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. And now you can find us out as well on dxcentrallive.com. Go check it out. Make sure you bookmark it. Thanks, my friends. Take care. We'll see you after the first of the year. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you. Happy holidays.
This is DX Central.